It was one of those mornings when the city felt alive, the air was warm, the streets were noisy, and somewhere far away, the smell of chai mixed with the sound of motorbikes passing by. I remember stepping out of my small apartment in Karachi, clutching my handbag in one hand and a cup of coffee in the other. My name is Sara Ahmed, 24 years old, recently graduated, and if I am honest, completely lost. For 8 long months, I had been searching for a job. 8 months of sending applications, 8 months of waiting for calls that never came, and today I had another interview. A small marketing firm, nothing glamorous, but at that point, I would have taken anything. Scene 1. The interview. I walked into this old commercial building. The paint on the walls was peeling. The elevator looked like it had seen better days inside the office. There was a small waiting room with plastic chairs. 3 other candidates sat there, scrolling on their phones, looking far more confident than I felt. When my name was called, I took a deep breath and walked into the interview room. The manager, Mr. Khan, smiled politely. The usual questions followed. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Why do you want to work with us? What are your strengths and weaknesses? I answered as best as I could. I talked about creativity, hard work, teamwork, but deep down I could feel it. That smile that wasn't the same one I would seen in so many interviews before. The one that meant will let you know. Scene 2. The elevator. I walked out, trying not to look disappointed. I pressed the elevator button. The doors began to close, and suddenly a voice called out, "Hold the door, please." I quickly pressed the button. A man in his early 30s rushed in, carrying a big cardboard box. The box slipped, and just like in a movie, papers went flying everywhere. We both dropped down to pick them up. "Thanks," he said, a little out of breath. "First day at work, and I am already making a mess." I laughed. Happens to the best of us. We talked briefly. His name was Danish. He had just joined an NGO as a project coordinator. As we reached the ground floor, he handed me a simple white business card and said, "If you ever want to volunteer, we're always looking for people." And just like that, he was gone. Scene 3. The choice. That evening, I sat at my desk, staring at that business card. Volunteer work wouldn't pay my rent. It wouldn't solve my problems, but there was something about the way he said it. I took a deep breath and sent him an email. 2 days later, I walked into the NGO's small office. No fancy furniture, just a few desks, boxes of donate clothes, and posters about helping flood victims. My first task, sorting supplies for families who had lost their homes. I told myself it was temporary, just until I found a real job. Scene 3. The work. Days turned into weeks. I labeled boxes, managed lists, delivered supplies to shelters, Sometimes I taught basic English to children sitting on plastic mats in a crowded tent. I wasn't earning a salary, but I was learning. I was meeting people who were passionate, who work hard not for money but because they cared. And for the first time in months, I felt useful. Scene 5. The Offer. One afternoon, the NGO's director called me into his office. "Sara," he said, "we have noticed your dedication. There's an opening for a community outreach officer. It's not much, but it's a paid position. Would you like to join us?" I didn't even think twice. "Yes," I said, smiling through tears. Scene 6. Full Circle. A year later, I was standing in front of a group of young women at a skills training workshop. I told them my story. I told them about the months of rejection, about the day I almost gave up, and about how everything changed because I held an elevator door open for a stranger. I ended with this. Sometimes opportunity doesn't knock. Sometimes it drops a box of papers at your feet. Life is strange that the smallest decisions, the ones we barely notice, can lead to the biggest changes. And that was the day that changed my life. If you enjoy this video, you must subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.